And good evening, everybody. This is the Why Project. This is Lisa Scott with the Why Project. I am so excited to have everyone here this evening. If this is the first time that you have been to the Why Project, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for spending the next hour with me. And if you see over in your left-hand side of the screen, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love for you to press the little tweet bird so you can tweet this out to your friends and let your followers know that we're here on the Why Project. I am so excited because I have Tamika Anderson here and Lakeisha Sarba, and we are going to be having some really exciting conversation this evening. And I'm actually going to read exactly what we're going to be talking about because I wasn't trying to remember all of that. But just 1 second. We are going to be talking about, hold on just a sec because it's exciting. We'll be talking about releasing yourself from the fears of creating your business as you desire to create it. No more creating your business based on old running programs in your mind of how you quote unquote should run your business. I think that that's a very exciting topic, and I can't wait to hear what these ladies have to share and say about it. This is a platform where I do allow you to share your links because this is the Why Project. And the reason that I decided to develop this platform for people to come on and be able to talk about their why is because in my past life, not too long ago as a business coach, whenever I would coach women online or womenpreneurs who were online, and we would start to talk about what their why was. Why did they start their business to begin with? It always seemed like a struggle. It always seemed like the person had never really thought about their why. And so I found myself having that conversation or that going through that repeated process with online womenpreneurs. And I thought, wow, this is very interesting that nobody is necessarily thinking about their why. And what that can tend to do is cause you to experience a lot of overwhelm. It can cause you to experience a lack of clarity, a lack of focus. It can cause so many different things that actually I learned early on in my business. I started my business in 2011. And when I first started my business, the one thing I did know is why I started it. And so it assisted me to be able to be, I guess, a little more focused than people that I was experiencing who were just starting out, who had not had the opportunity to really stop and think about why they started their business to begin with. So what I ultimately did was I stopped and I paid attention to my why. I noticed that there were 3 components that jumped out to me. And those components consisted of where you are in your past or where you were in your past, a pivotal moment or shift or breakthrough that occurred that caused you to say, you know, I'm not going to deal with this anymore, or it was sort of like a fork in the road. And then where you are now. These were the 3 areas that jumped out to me when I paid attention to my why. And so what I did was I created a PDF to kind of assist people to pay attention to their why or assist them in walking them through the steps of creating their why. And then I thought, you know what, this isn't enough. I felt like it wasn't enough. I wanted to actually have people hear other people's why so that they could begin to associate by hearing other people's stories. And I thought that that would be a further assistance to people in being able to create their why. So this is why I created this platform so that anyone who desires to can come onto the platform and talk to us about your why. And I love doing this in a live stream platform and environment because we really get a chance to know one another. We really get a chance to see people animated in who they are and their expression and their passion. And I think that that is so important as we're out here talking to people about who we are. Instead of just a Facebook post or a blog post, we get an opportunity to really get to know who people are. So I love this platform, not to mention when I start to hear where people are from and the fact that we're all sitting in this one location, yet I'm here in Southeast New Jersey, and I want to hear, I think you're from Atlanta, Lakeisha?
Okay, I put my mute on because my son does some crazy stuff in the background.
It's okay.
I'm originally from New York, from White Plains, New York. And I'm
okay.
to Atlanta, oh goodness now. Oh boy, I can't even remember. It's probably about 12, 13 years now. And I am actually in between Atlanta and Montgomery. My husband is not free, right? And so, I'm a freedom entrepreneur, so I can work from any location, but he's not as free as I am. And so we are here in Montgomery. We've been here for about 5 years. I'm hoping that we will be leaving soon, going back to Atlanta. But for now, it's only 2 hours. It's only 2 hours, so I still get to go and see my clients in Atlanta. So it's cool.
Oh, so Tamika, you're in Atlanta. Oh my goodness. I love it. Here we go already with the connection. Wow. And I do want to stop just real quick and welcome those who I am seeing entering into the platform. I see Tammy and Deborah and Tiff and Barbara. And I just want to welcome every single one of you to this awesome conversation that we're about to have here on the Y Project. And Tamika, so you're from Atlanta?
Well, I live in Atlanta. I'm from Chicago.
Oh, well, okay.
Everybody that lives in Atlanta is from somewhere.
Right.
You know what? I heard that. I did hear that.
Yeah.
But I thank you so much, ladies, for being here. This is the awesome thing about being online, being entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs online, is we have the opportunity to cast our nets wider than perhaps we would have had the ability to do, out and about, and really get to know people on a more personal level. And I've seen both of you young ladies in various groups and various platforms. And I just want to say I'm very, very proud of what you're doing. Thank you. I said, let me reach out and and get these young ladies on the Y Project, because we really need to get to know you and hear what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. And oh my goodness, Tina's here. Hi, Tina. That's one of my awesome mastermind young ladies. And what I want to start the first thing I want to do is give both of you young ladies the opportunity to talk about your why. Before we begin the discussion of, getting rid of those fears of creating your business in the way that you actually desire to create it. The first thing I want to do is talk about your why. And Lakeisha, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that first, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Tell us on the Y Project. What is
All right. So my why is actually twofold, right? Originally, my why was really for freedom, right? And who doesn't want that after being in corporate America for over 20 years? You'll learn from me, like tonight when I tell my story, is that I suffered with anxiety. Anxiety. And I was actually in Chicago. I was in your neck of the woods, Tamika, during this time with the company that I was with. And during that point in my life, it was really, all about money. So I was making really good money, great 6-figure job, but I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't know that, though. So the universe kind of pushed me toward that point. And the anxiety attacks came, and I said, I have to stop. This is a wake up call for me. So I decided to leave corporate America without anything, right? And I did that, had no idea where I was going. And God, of course, and the universe led me to my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. So my why originally was just, to care for me and to care for myself and just to have the freedom to do whatever it was that I was supposed to do. My why has since changed, and I find that it changes. I don't know if that happens with you ladies. As we grow, our whys changed, right? And so originally it was just for me to be able to get out of corporate America and just, kind of do my own thing. I had no idea what that was or what it looked like at the time. But as I grew spiritually, right, and as I grew as a person and as an entrepreneur, that why changed, right? And so now my why today is, for me to be able to not only be, financially independent, but also personally, right? Just the freedom to be able to, homeschool my son, to be able to travel and do the things that I want to do. For me, it's really all about experiences and being able to offer my children that and leaving them something behind. My grandmother passed away. She raised me, my grandparents, and I was left with nothing but memories of them. My mother, will pass away when she's old and she will leave me with nothing. I don't want that for my children. You know what I'm saying? So a big part of what I do, is not only the financial aspect of it, but also to be able to leave some type of legacy or something for my children. So my why is kind of, I don't have just one why. I have, like a combination of the two. But again, it's always changing for me.
Yay.
Yes. Very, very inspirational, very, very close to my heart. So many things that you said, and I can tell that Tamika feels the same way. Just to hear you talk about things like legacy and, paying attention to yourself. It's absolutely exactly, what I resonate with. And so kudos to you for paying attention. And when you talk about the legacy of your children, it's not just the financial legacy, but it's the mindset as well, that your children will have the opportunity to know that whatever they desire to create, from themselves is actually possible. So I think that is a profound legacy as well as the financial piece. Just for somebody to know that it's possible for them to do what it is that they desire to do, it's an amazing, it's just absolutely amazing.
It is.
And we'll continue to, talk about this as we hear each other say things that remind us of something else or whatever. I'm just, oh my goodness, what an awesome, what an awesome share. Thank you so much for that. And Tamika, tell us your why.
Okay, so first of all, Lakeisha, thank you so much for setting the precedent, because I thought it was just me that did just have one why, because I have a lot of them. So, I'll start off with my first why. How about that? So my first why was simply because I was just sick and tired of people telling me what to do. I was tired of people telling me what I couldn't do, what I should do, and not really giving me a voice and asking me, what would you like to do? When I graduated high school, I was told, go to school for something that you're going to have a guaranteed job for. So what did I do? I went to school for pharmacy. Hated it. Every minute of it, I hated it. I worked in a pharmacy for 10 years, dreading to go to work. And it was like, it has to be more than this. There has to be more to life than this. Every job I've ever worked in, I would resonate more with the owner of the company than I would actually being an employee. A lot of people, and the owners would even ask me, Tamika, why do you work here? And I was just like, I don't know. It's a job. I need a job. I got to pay bills. I like to eat, So then I joined my very first MLM. I'm not going to tell you which one it was. In 2006, I joined my very first MLM, and this is when it clicked for me. When the mentor that I had saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. It was just like, oh my God, Tanika, you're awesome. I'm like, okay, I don't feel awesome. I'm going to work 5 days a week. I barely see my kids and I still don't have no money. So I don't feel awesome. So how is that awesome? You know, and I felt very frustrated with trying to figure out what was this awesome that people saw that I didn't see. So it took me about, oh my goodness, 4 years for me to really find who I was. 4 years is a long time. Okay. From 2006 to 2010, it took me that long to figure out, okay, who am I? What do I like? What do I want to do? And that is my first why. I wanted to be able to help people not have to take so long to find out who you are, what you love. And, you know, my tagline is, you know, unleash your inner badass, because we all have it. It's all in there, but it takes something for you to just say, okay, this is all I had to do to figure this out. Oh my goodness. So once I found out who I was, what I love to do, I began to just go tell everybody I knew. I got a big mouth. So I love to tell other people what I learned. And people that I really wanted to help the most, because I felt like I spent 30 plus years trying to find out who I was. So I wanted to be able to help our future leaders. So I started off with children. I started designing programs to help build confidence in kids. I was safe there. Yeah. So I did that, and organically, the parents came to me, and I found myself coaching parents, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? You know, and then from there, it, you know, turned into like leaders as a whole. And so that's why I said my why. I have a whole bunch of different whys. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be who I was. I wanted to still be able to make money. I like taking naps. So, you know, I wanted to be able to be home with my children, go to my child's school, to have lunch with her and take a nap.
Exactly.
So those are my whys.
Wow. Again, your story resonates a lot with me as well. And I really appreciate you guys saying that you have more than one why, because I do as well. I actually do as well. And you know, when I initially started my coaching business, it actually came as a result of having started a home organizing business. I started out with a home organizing business, and I just jumped out there, had no idea, you know, what this really entailed, but I'm that type of person that kind of jumps in with both feet and feels my way through things. I don't like to stand back and perceive it. I like to experience it, feel it. And what started to happen very quickly and organically was that every single time I would go into someone's home to do the initial consultation, for, you know, to let that person know what they could expect from me, to understand what what they expected of me, they would tell me the very intimate details of why they became a hoarder or why they were cluttering. And it turned out that there were a lot of instances of, you know, that person not having someone to talk to. And this pattern kept happening over and over again until this one young lady said to me, she would, when I would come into her home, it was always dinner time, and she wanted to sit down and for me to have dinner. And I'm like, I'm here to do this, you know, I only have a limited amount of time. And she said, Lisa, I understand your concern about my having paid you, and we're only going to sit down and talk, but that is very important to me. So if you'll allow that, then I'm okay if you're okay. And that's when this light bulb went off, that I said, oh my goodness, this is important to people. And what was even more, what stuck out even more is it seemed that people were comfortable while in their territory. It wasn't about coming out of the home and going to an office. It was about them being comfortable in their territory. And this is when I began to pay attention to, or everything happens for a reason. So very soon after that, I'm flipping through the television and I see, this woman called a life coach who's helping people in all areas of their life. And I said, wait a minute, she's doing what I do. But over time, my coaching business, not over time, very soon after that, my coaching business took a very more focused and spiritual path, because that's the path I was on and continue to be on. I'm actually now consider myself to be a spiritual counselor, metaphysical practitioner. Well, that's what I went to school for. So I'm just saying that my why has evolved over time. So I certainly understand how, one thing leads to another, or one thing is teaching us what we want, what we don't want, what we more closely resonate with, so that we can really understand and do what we're here to do. That's the thing. Do what we're here to do because we love it and we're passionate about it. And I know you ladies are that way. And I'm so grateful to have you here talking about this. So we are going to talk about getting rid of the fears that people have in creating their business the way that they want to create it. When I say that to you, young ladies, what exactly do you get from that? What has been your experience? What do you feel about that? I'll reserve, my comments until I hear you guys, or we'll just talk back and forth. But what do you feel when we're talking about getting rid of your fears in people's ability to create their business as they desire to create it versus recreating something that they just left, right. Recreating something that they don't like, right. Recreating, hours in a day and working within those hours in a day that they really don't want to work, but they created it that way to begin with.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that?
I'll go ahead and start if you don't mind. So what I feel about that is I feel the same way. I feel that you have to have the courage enough to set boundaries and stand up for yourself. The reason why I say that is because I'll never forget when I first started out. I knew I didn't have any money. I was just transitioning from an actual job. So I wanted to be able to work for myself and start, building a business, but I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So I was good at assisting people and I like to learn. So I went and I seeked out, entrepreneurs, small business owners. And I said, hey, listen, can I be your assistant? I just wanted to assist them because I felt like I can earn as I learn. So, and that's exactly what I did. But it became more so like when I first started, and they can sense that too, if you don't have that confidence of who you are and everything like that. And so they were trying to pay me an hourly rate. And I was like, wait a minute. And then they wanted me to work a certain hour. I said the same thing that you said, Lisa. I was like, wait a minute, this is a job. I mean, I'm just not sitting at a facility, but this is still like a job. And so I had to really be honest with myself. I, spent some time just really thinking about what I wanted my business to look like. And I said, what do I want? I had to, go back to the drawing board of what I wanted. Number one, I didn't want to be on anybody's clock. So check. That's the first thing. Number two, I didn't want anybody paying me an hourly rate because I felt like I'm valuable. You cannot afford to pay me an hourly rate. So that was the second thing. And what else? I wanted to be able to have the freedom that if I want my little one, she's 6. If she asked me to come have lunch with her, I want to be able to do that. Okay, check.
Uh-oh.
Tamika, you froze. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Tamika, you're frozen if you can hear us.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can. Okay, I think she's probably gonna refresh and come back in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just give it a minute, and if she doesn't come right back, then I'd
Okay.
love for you to start sharing, Lakeisha.
Okay, sure.
She's probably gonna.
Don't you love this platform?
Oh my goodness. I've used other platforms. Daria said this Blab is so refreshing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. I love this platform. It is.
I do. And it's something because you really do have to use a platform that you resonate with, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
or else you're not going to give it your all.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I've tried other platforms, and they're good for what they're good for. But when I got here, I said, "This is it.
This is it." Yeah. Were those other platforms Periscope?
One of them was Periscope.
One of them was Periscope.
I tried that several times, but I also use SoundCloud for my just podcasting.
Right.
As well, but this is where we can see one another.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate this, and I appreciate being able to bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I love to bring people together and hear and experience one another. So this is it. This is the place for me.
Yeah, Tamika's back. If you can try to open the seat for her, she's back in the room.
I don't see her on my screen.
You don't? I saw her pop up on mine. I think she's in here. I see her picture up at the top there. I see 12 ladies in the room.
There, but you know what? I got to unlock.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tamika, if you can hear me, please try dialing back in. I think I had the seat locked. Maybe.
But yeah, I do. I love Blab. I like Periscope too, but Blab is just, it really, like, it resonates with me more, Yeah.
And plus, I can't see, on Periscope, the words. And I'm like, I can't even say hi to people because I don't see it.
Right.
It's going by
it's going
quick.
so fast. Yes. You have to be on it. You have to be on it. Who in the room uses Periscope? Can you put some ones up on the side to let us know who's actually using Periscope?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Doria.
Okay. All right.
Okay. How are you liking it, Doria? Are you okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome.
Are you ladies using it often, like on a daily basis, or do you have like a weekly show? It's funny because I was going through my my content, what is this called? Content marketing spreadsheet that my team helps me create, and Periscope was on there, and I just was like, I didn't really feel too good about Periscope during the first of the year. And so now they put it back on there for the second part of the year. And I'm like, really? And it's like, well, yeah, you have to get on Periscope because that's where your ideal client is. And so we'd like to see you do more of that. And so I have some material, so I'm gonna try it out again, but it's like, it's not the same as Blab.
Yeah.
I just started using this week. Okay, awesome. And how do you like it, Cheyenne? Am I pronouncing your name right? I like it. I don't use it every day. I should. Yeah. Yeah. I have a content calendar, I think it's called, a content marketing calendar. Yeah. And so
sounds like Shane, she said.
Oh, okay. Okay, Shane. Okay. And for my content marketing calendar, I have like my Blab shows scheduled. I also have some Periscope now. I'm going to have to start jumping on Periscope and Snapchat. I love Snapchat. Is anybody else on Snapchat in here?
I've never used it.
Oh my God, Lisa, I'm a Snapchatting fool.
Oh.
I love Snapchat. When they first introduced it, I was like, I don't really think I like this. And then, I went on, I'm like, how do you engage with people? But I love it. It's like Twitter with video, right? Because you only get a little snippet of time, like 10 seconds or something like that, to say whatever. But I love it because you can actually tell an actual story, right? And some people use it in really, really, really creative ways. Like a lot of the companies that are using it, they share it. Like, so they share the sign in with their employees that are like scattered throughout the US or throughout the world. And then somebody new logs on every day to kind of share their snapshot and share their like their corner of the world. It's really cool. I really like it a lot. Yeah.
That sounds really incredible. I'll have to check it out. I see
Yeah.
my using it, but I hadn't started using it yet. I'll definitely have to try
Check
that.
it out. I mean, you never know. There's a lot of I'm meeting a lot of great people from all over the world. So it's really, I love it for that reason, just connecting with people. And so it's really cool. I don't think my ideal client is on there, but I just like it for the fun of it. It's just, it's just kind of cute and good to connect with other people. I met 2 contacts that I'm going to have on my show. So that's really cool. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And you know what? I think Tamika, I see her popping in and out.
Okay.
So I know she's, going through something in terms of trying to get back in. The seat is open. But maybe there's something going on with the computer or something. So
sorry, the internet. Yeah, her internet kicked her off. Blab is really funny. For you ladies, if you haven't done a show yet and you're going to be incorporating Blab, make sure that you hardwire your laptop into whatever your internet is. Like use that old school Ethernet cable. So that'll really help you stay connected because Wi-Fi is so unpredictable. Yeah.
Tamika's back.
Hey, Tamika.
Hey, sorry about that.
Oh, and definitely don't use your cell phone, anybody, if you're using Blab, because I've seen where people start experiencing connection problems also if they're trying to do Blab by cell phone.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Okay. So, Tamika, please pick up where you left off.
Okay, so as I get back home. I think I was telling you the story about how I had to be pretty much firm with myself and what I wanted and set boundaries. So I had to send out a memo for my client and I had to let them know, listen, starting today, I will no longer be working an hourly rate. My rates are as follows. And then, I sent them that memo and I let them know that this is for me. Although I would love to continue working with you, in the current state, I cannot keep doing this because this is not beneficial for me. And I was so prepared to not have anybody or anything like that. It's like they fell in love with me more. Like, wow. Okay. So I began to be more courageous in what I wanted. And I started saying, okay, that doesn't work for me. This is what I need. And I was firm up until I'll never forget, because like I told you, I first started designing programs for children. And so I wanted to get my programs in, different schools. And so I'll never forget the very first Montessori school that I approached with my program. Now, anybody who know about Montessori, how, up there they are. Right. So I approached the school and, I had my price, my package, everything. And I went to them. They were just like, yeah, we want to sit down with you. And they looked over my program and they're just like, oh my God, this is really nice. We're currently working with another gentleman that we've been dealing with for the past 3 years. But we really like your program, although your prices are way higher than his. So I was just sitting there looking at them like, okay. Because I was being firm, I stood on my boundaries. I know what I'm worth. I know my value. So I was prepared to walk away from there, not getting the contract, even if they told me that it was just way too much. So they went back and forth deliberating. Oh my goodness, we really like this, but we've been dealing with this, but yours is so much more, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they said, you know what? Your program is way better. We'll work with you. Can you start in September? And it was like, the more experiences I had with standing my ground, being who I am, you know, facing fear, because I was afraid. I was afraid. But the more like I tell people, fearless to me simply means that, yes, you face fear, but the more you face it, you fear less. So now I'm just like this total badass. So to the point to where I go in and I tell people what I want, and I don't give them an option to say, oh, well, because either you want to work with me or you don't, period. So that's my story.
Wow, that is incredible. And what I was hearing, you know, in terms of you're making a decision to begin with, you know, that this is how, but you know, I appreciate your saying that it wasn't that you didn't have the fear. It's that you, what do they say? Do it afraid or do it scared.
Do it scared.
You know, it's just like with these platforms and jumping out here and being exposed, you know, to everybody. And you got your little trolls coming in and out and all this. But, you know, thinking about the alternative of not doing it at all, thinking about the alternative of not, you know, going for what I really feel or what you really feel in your heart is the right thing or the thing that makes it worth it for you. You know, that is worse than not doing it. Like if you know, that's way worse. So it's like you need to make a decision because you'll stay right where you're at if you don't decide you're going to do it. What did you say, Lakeisha? What's it called? Do it
scared.
Do it scared.
Do it scared. Do it scared.
And now you said you're a badass with it. I love that because it's the only way you do build confidence. It really is facing those fears and bulldozing through them. So I really appreciate that experience. And Lakeisha, what are your thoughts about people facing their fears in terms of creating their business the way that they actually desire to create it versus those old running programs that are running, you know, and have us recreating the same exact thing that we were looking to get away from? Exactly.
You know, for me, it's all about facing your fear, right? So anybody that knows me and follows me and my story knows that that's exactly how I got to where I am right now, is basically just by facing my fear. Fear is something that we're all going to have. We're going to face fear, or we face fear at some point in our lives, right? What we have to understand is that it's not over, okay? Because when you get to one level of success, you're going to want another one. So then you know what? Those are new fears you have to face. Yeah. But if you confront fear, right, and you look at it for what it is, fear is just a feeling. It's an emotion that we all have, like happiness and anger, right? If we look at fear as that emotion and not get so hung up on it to allow it to stop us from doing the very thing that we want to do, then we will be so much better off. You know, I had a mentor tell me that anything that you're afraid of, right, go for it, right? Because that thing it's meant for you to do that thing, okay? Now, I'm not talking skydiving, not that type of fear, right? I'm talking about like going after your dreams. You know what I'm saying? If you can dream it, it's meant for you. It's yours to have. But of course, if success was so easy, then we all would have it. It wouldn't be the 1%, right? Mm-hmm. It would be 100%. Absolutely. So we really have to look at it that way. You have to move past your fears, and you have to do it consistently. It's not something that you just do every once in a while. Ooh. So I make it a point every day to do something that I'm uncomfortable doing, right? Until it becomes a norm, right? Until I become a badass like Tamika, you know? And so every day I'm doing something that I'm uncomfortable with. Being on this platform, you couldn't get me to do this 2 years ago, a year ago. What? Sitting in front of people, all of these people that I don't know, telling my story and just being in front of people, that wasn't my thing. You know, I had an amazing fear about that in public speaking. And look at me now. I have my own show. I go out and I do workshops and talks, right? Who would have thought that I'd be doing this? This was just a year ago, ladies. Mm-hmm. And so if I can do that, So can you. I'm no different than you. We're built from the same cloth. Our experiences may be a little different, but that's what makes us unique, unique to who we are.
Mm.
So yes, I'm all about facing fear. That's what it's about.
Oh my goodness. And when you use that word unique, that word, I absolutely love that word, because actually on your show earlier, Lakeisha, you were talking about people paying attention to the fact of, not jumping on the bandwagon of everybody else, what everybody else is doing. And, I certainly understand that when you're first starting out, especially when you're in the online space and you're trying to feel your way through what it is that this thing is all about. Because this is huge. This is from local to global. So you're kind of, treading lightly and putting your big toe in the water, because you don't want to, make any mistakes, or, you don't want to put yourself out there and misrepresent, or, whatever it is that you're dealing with. So I certainly understand, studying or sitting back and paying attention to what you're seeing. But then there's a decision that needs to be made.
Yes.
There's a decision that needs to be made about how you're going to represent yourself. What does your voice sound like? Who is your client? What groups? I remember starting out years ago, and I was in every group under the sun. It was like the more groups I was in, I thought I was doing something. And until I heard somebody say that when you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. And when I heard that, I said, that makes so much sense, that we really need to, I'll just say, I believe that being an entrepreneur, especially in the online space, because I can't speak to any other space, it has been the most challenging yet beautiful thing that I have ever experienced. Because
like having kids.
Right? Because it challenges you every step of the way to continue to align yourself with yourself.
Yes.
So I appreciate the experience, just like being on Periscope. Jumped out there, said I was going to start using Periscope. Now, you talk about some trolls. I was like, what is going on? Now, remember, if you're in a space where you're used to controlling the atmosphere, and now you're in this space where you can't control the atmosphere. Well, now you have something to learn. And initially I was like, I don't like how this feels. Oh my goodness. But when I stepped back and I assessed the situation, I said, wait a minute. There's no way that Oprah's not getting some crazy, you know what I mean? Oprah's on a way bigger platform than what I'm talking about. She's hearing some crazy stuff. And so I felt like I was rising to an occasion so that I could assist myself to be in a space that didn't necessarily feel comfortable, so that I could learn whatever it is that I needed to get from that experience. And I feel like as long as we are always looking for the opportunity to learn, that we actually will learn. And it won't feel, where it felt really bad and felt like, oh my goodness, what the heck's happening? All of a sudden it was like, oh, I get it. Okay. I get what this is all about. I'm going to be on bigger platforms, so I need to get used to this, because not everybody's nice.
Yeah.
And not everybody likes what you're saying.
Yeah.
And not everybody appreciates what you're doing. And what are you going to do? Are you going to quit?
Right.
No, I'm not quitting. So I needed to experience what I experienced, and it is what it is. But I just wanted to share that as we're talking about getting rid of fears so that we can truly align ourselves with what it is our heart desires, because we deserve that.
There's a question from B Wise.
Okay.
I would love to be able to address it because I've been there.
Oh, somebody's asking, is that you, Lakeisha?
I just put it in the message. It was Be Wise. She asked the question, but she didn't do it in the question format.
Oh, okay.
For you ladies that are new to the platform, what you can do is on your right-hand side on the bottom, there's that little, looks like a /. If you click on that, you just select ask a question. The queue will come up. You just provide a space, and then you can type in your question, and it'll come up on the side for us over there on the left-hand side.
And thank you for that instruction, Lakeisha. And listen, guys, this is what it's all about. You know, we jump in, assist one another. I remember having a blab and my computer just went out completely. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is my thing. And I came back and they were still rolling like nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Like, she'll be back.
I said, that's what I'm talking about. This is what but anyway, who would like to answer the question? How do you stay encouraged when it seems like nobody is listening to your message?
I can definitely answer that.
All right.
This is actually something that I experience more often than not. And so one of the things, like I tell my clients all the time, I got tired of chasing money, so to speak. I wanted to be in a position where money chased me. You know what I mean? So I went and I constantly went to different mentors. I was, doing all of the coaching and everything. And the one person that resonated with me, and I was just like, just plain as day, I'm tired of chasing people. I don't want to do that. That's not how I got into business. I'm discouraged. I'm down. I'm broke. So can you tell me what I can do where, I want it all. I don't want to chase money. I want it to chase me. And my mentor told me something that it works. He said, Tamika, if you work harder on yourself than anything else, you won't ever have to worry about money. And that is true. Because like I was explaining earlier today, I was on a Skype session with one of my new clients. And immediately after I got off the Skype session, I was going to go have lunch with my daughter. And I get a phone call from a private school that I had attended, to give them some information. And she says, hey, I'm calling you because I want to catch you before the summer, before you get busy. Because, the summer camp, we want to use your program. And I was like, honey, my first month is already booked. So if you want to do this, you might as well do it now. So that was a perfect example of how I don't have to chase it because I work on myself every single day. If there's one thing that I work hard on, I work hard on Tamika. I work hard on being a woman of value. I work hard on being valuable. So therefore, I never have to worry about money or chasing money. And even when I get discouraged, I work hard on me and my mindset and my brain. Why am I discouraged? What is going on? And then that's what helps me to get out of that mindset, if that helps.
Yes, you said that, Tamika.
Tamika, oh my, you just helped so many people.
Yes.
So many people. Because, I think that we hear that information a lot. Well, let me not take for granted that people hear that a lot, but I'm feeling like in the online space, a lot of times people do hear work more on yourself than you do your business. So they might begin to feel like that's a cliche, or how can you say that? I'm suffering. I'm feeling, this kind of way. Like you said, I don't have no money. How the heck you going to tell me to work on myself when I got a bill to pay and you talking about working on yourself? But I know from personal experience that when you change and shift your own internal vibration and energy, that because we're connected to everything, there is no way that you're not going to get a reciprocation of that positivity. As long as you're focused on the negative and your vibration is negative, it's what you're putting out and it's what you get.
Right.
And then another thing too, like I tell my clients all the time, I say, you have to, in order to be a business owner, entrepreneur, you have to be a person that solves problems. That's what people pay for. Solve my problem for me. So I say, you have to start with solving your own problem.
Oh.
If you're broke, you better learn how to make some money because you cannot teach anybody anything until you know how to do it yourself.
Well,
Exactly.
okay,
Exactly.
which brings me back to the why. It brings me back to the why, because this is what you're able to teach people information that you have learned. Just like you said, I can't talk to you about this, that, and the other when I haven't experienced it myself. I was going to say there is something called integrity. So that, that's a word.
Yeah. I know not everybody has it though. Like I said, I would not dare, say to somebody, I can teach you how to make $5 million when I haven't made it yet.
Hello.
I'm so glad you
Hello,
said that.
Lisa.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you said that.
Hello.
Because that bothers me. And another thing that I tell my clients as well too, because they're just like, how does it come just so easy for you? I said, because I walk in integrity. I'm not going to teach anybody anything I'm not doing myself. So therefore, I don't have anything to hide. I don't have to be insecure. I am who I am because this is what it is.
Right.
And when I hear people say, oh yeah, let me show you how to make $1 million business. And I'm like, so you make $1 million yourself? I mean, because if not, then you cannot teach me how to make $1 million.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
There you go.
You know what? I love that, because whenever I go to put something out, a program, if I want to train somebody on something, I'm very, very careful about the wording that I choose, making sure that every single thing that I say that I am able to teach you is in fact something I am doing or that I learned, that I can teach you because I experienced it. And now here is the result of, this, and I love what you said in terms of, it basically is what it is. I hate to put it that way, but it is what it is in terms of what you see is what you get, because you can have that confidence level because you truly are experiencing this. That's where the confidence comes from, because it is your experience. It's not something you heard. It's not something you're sitting back perceiving and you have an opinion about. It's an experience that you have had. And I'm gonna jump over to you, Lakeisha, because when you talked about because your last show, because you said you hadn't been on in quite some time, and I believe I saw your last show before you went on vacation, and that's my daughter showing me the cheese biscuits that are ready, because I have turkey meatballs and spaghetti. And she's like asking me, are they ready? But there was a blab that you did where you were talking about what you used to do as a business coach, I believe. And then you became the uncoach.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, when I saw that, it gave me goosebumps. It gave me goosebumps when I saw the uncoach, because I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Because I could tell that you had gone from doing what everybody else was doing. Everybody's calling themselves a coach. There's a coach for this, a coach for that, coach for this, coach for, and that's cool. I'm not coming down on coaches, but what you were saying is, this is my lane.
Exactly.
Right here,
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Please, talk to us.
Okay. So I originally, my very first business, so we can get some history about me, is that I started my first business over 7 years ago, and that's a virtual assistant business, very similar to what you were doing, Tamika. And so after leaving corporate America, I didn't know what I was going to do. Right. And so I met someone, they told me about this VA thing, and I said, I can do that in my sleep, right? In corporate America, I was doing I was a director of training and development. So I was creating curriculum, training and mentoring people. Of course, I could do this administrative stuff, with my eyes closed, basically. So I started this business, right? And it took off really pretty well. And realized after, one of my clients pulled my coattail and told me, you're not a VA. You're a trainer. You're a mentor. You're a coach, right? You need to stop calling yourself that. She introduced me to Allie Brown, who's a, wide international coach. I worked with Allie Brown for a year. I also went and did a retreat with Christine Kane, who's another really big international coach. And so, I love Allie too. And so after, working with these coaches, I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a coach, right? I'm going to be a coach, right? Because that just sounded like, I was going to be this amazing 6-figure coach, right? That's what I was going to do. Went ahead and got my, decided I went ahead and did the whole coaching certification and everything. And started taking on clients, right? Because I already had clients in my VA business that wanted to work with me. Then I took on some new clients, and I hated it. I hated it because it was like watching paint dry, right? Literally. I mean, you have to pull this information out of people and all this other stuff. And I couldn't understand for the life of me why I'm having such a hard time with this thing, right? Like, what is it? I can do this. And I worked with one of my clients who's a Strengths Finder coach, right? And she had me do the whole Strengths Finder thing. Mm-hmm. And she pointed out to me after I did that whole Strengths Finders, I think it was like a little test or something you have to do online. And what it pointed out was my number one, can you ladies guess what my number one strength is? Can any of you guess at all? Anybody? It wasn't coaching. It was strategy.
I was going to say strategizing.
I'm a strategist, right? So my number one was strategist. Then it was communication. Then it was positivity. Then it was relator. And I think I had another one. It was 5 of them, right? So strategy was at the top of my list.
Wow.
That is why I could not relate to coaching, because I'm sitting here with these women and I'm looking at them and I'm saying to myself, okay, this is what you have going on in your business, right? And I'm saying this in my mind, like, she just needs to implement this system. She just needs to move this over here and do a little bit of this and, move this around. She's doing too much of this over here. She needs to put it over there. So automatically in my mind, my wheels are turning. But I can't say this. Why? Because I'm a coach. Got to sit back, let them come up with their own, realization. Right. Yep. And I'm not knocking coaching because I believe coaching works for people. Yes. Right?
Yes.
I'm a big believer in coaching. I'm a big believer in life coaching. I'm a big believer in business coaching, right? Mentoring. I'm a huge believer in that. I know that there are some things that you have to come to your own decisions on. However, there are women out there, right, that want results now. Like Tamika said, you have to solve a problem. Mm-hmm. If you're not solving a problem, you're no good to anybody, right? Mm-hmm. And so there were problems that I can solve for people. And I saw that in front of me. And I needed to just, get it done and just do it instead of going through this whole long drawn out process. So to make a long story short, I decided that I couldn't deal with the coaching anymore because it just wasn't who I was. So I decided that I was going to create my own lane, right? I'm not a coach. I'm the uncoach, right? I'm the exact opposite of what your coach is. I'm not going to sit and coach you through and do all this other stuff. We're going to sit down. We're going to strategize. We're going to create an actionable plan. And then we're going to take solid action on what it is that you need to do to implement in your business so that you can get the results that you want. I'm going to work with you hand in hand to do that. Right. So me being that, the uncoach rattled some people, of course, in the coaching industry because it's such a big industry. So what do you mean you're the uncoach? Exactly what does that mean? Does that mean you're uncoaching people? No, that's not what that means. I'm not trying to uncoach anything that somebody else did. Right. What I'm doing is I'm helping people to get results, right? I'm helping people to get the results that they want to get. And what I'm finding in this coaching industry, the majority of my clients, do you know who they are, ladies? There are ladies that have been coached to death. Wow. They go from coach to coach, program to program, hopping from this coach to that coach. And all they're doing is they're trying to mimic, right? They're trying to shadow exactly what these coaches are doing because they don't know exactly how they did that. How did they build this 7-figure business in a day, right? How did they make 10K in a day? How did they do all of this different stuff? And what they're not sharing with them, right, is that yes, on paper, you get in 10 clients and those 10 clients buy into your $10,000 program. That takes a year, right? Those clients can drop out at any time if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. How many clients did you actually lose? How many clients did you actually keep throughout that entire year? This is the information that they're not sharing with people.
Exactly.
So in all actuality, you didn't make 10K in a day.
Yes.
Right? You didn't. So let's be completely honest and transparent with people. And they're not. And a lot of these coaches are not. A lot of them are, right? And a lot of them aren't.
I
And so
love
this
that
is
you said that.
Yes, and this is where I come into play, because people are kind of getting tired of that, because what they're seeing is it's the same model, right? Like we discussed earlier, Lisa, about the whole what was it, the bandwagoning, right? Because you see a coach and they're doing this model, you're going to automatically jump on the bandwagon to do that model.
Yeah.
You know, I work with clients, right? I have 2 clients that are life coaches, and they are trying to figure out, as life coaches, how to do a group program, right? There are some things that you can kind of do and you can kind of get away with that, maybe having a support group or some other stuff. But if you're life coach, and if I'm going to a life coach, I want it to be me and you, because I have some serious things going on that I may not want everybody in the group to know about right now. So I need you to address me and help me get through what I'm getting through. And then after you get me to that point, then maybe introduce me to a support group or something you got to kind of keep what I got going on. Stop trying to make your stuff fit into these fad things, because your business model may not be that. You understand what I'm saying?
Ooh,
So,
I understand.
yeah, so I can go on about this for days, y'all, because I'm very passionate about that.
Woo!
But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I spent over 10K, right? No, I'm sorry, over 50K, sorry, in my coaching and my journey to become a coach. So you have to understand what I was up against when I decided to go a whole nother way here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't just put a couple of pennies in. I work with some really good coaches, and I took this money from the other business that I had going on, you know, savings, you know, some of my husband's money, you know what I'm saying? I'm spending money trying to get to this point because I want to be that 7-figure coach. Like I want to be that coach, you know? And then after spending over $50,000 and then realizing, damn, I don't really want to do that. That's really not what I want to do.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I'm having to go to my husband and say, I'm taking a different route. You know what I'm saying? This is not really what I thought it was going to be. But it all turned out for the best, because the training that I got, the coaches that I work with, I would have done everything the same, because now I am just that more valuable to my clients and what I can provide to them. You know, so I say all of that to say, don't be afraid to create your own lane. Like Tamika said, she wasn't just having people giving her an hourly rate, right? She went to them and let them know, look, this is what it is. This is my package. This is what you're going to do. If you want to work with me, this is what you're going to have to do. And this is it. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and let people know what they have to do in order to work with you. You know what I'm saying? And then don't be afraid to create your own lane and go a different direction. If you're going in a direction and it doesn't really fit with you and you're like, I don't know, create your own lane. I did it, right? People looking at me crazy like the uncoach. What does she think she means? Yes. I am the uncoach. That's exactly what I am. And I'm going to keep calling myself that, because I'm not a coach, right? The people that understand it and they understand what's going on in the coaching industry now can appreciate it, like you ladies. A lot of other people that are in that game, because let's keep it real, it's a game right now. It's a hustle. It's the new hustle.
It
is.
Right?
It is.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Woo! I know everybody sitting here got a lot out of that, because I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And Dory, you're absolutely right. Coaches are leaving the one-on-one because they are getting, you know, the whole group coaching for the more money. And I'm for that. If what you do and you can create an actual program for that, right, that's going to really help people and provide a benefit, I'm all for it. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do, get your money, but also be honest and upfront with these people about what you're providing to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I come into a coaching program and I don't know nothing about lead pages. I don't know nothing about technology. I don't know nothing about, you know, all of this other stuff. If you're just starting a business, don't sell people Infusionsoft. You know what I'm saying? Let people start from where they are at MailChimp or Aweber.
Yeah.
Right? Be completely honest with people about the cost of this thing, you know, and how much, you know, it is for the Facebook ads and all this other stuff they're going to be getting themselves into before they sign up for this. Be completely transparent.
But you know what? Let me say this, and then I'm going to have to jump off, ladies. What I've noticed is that a lot of the coaches are really in it to make money. They don't care about people. Like, I just did a leaders retreat last month, and every woman in the room, was telling me about how it totally transformed their life. And that's simply because, like I tell them, I'm in it to help you to be a better person, period. That is the reason why I got started. It doesn't matter to me about anything else but that you can take action immediately, because on the last day of the retreat, they had to actually get up and give presentations. And I do that simply because I am not one of those people who, here's my program, pay for it. I don't care if you're getting results or not. That's not me. What I do is, and this is one of the reasons why money chases me, you know, is because I want to make a difference in your life. When you fill out the form to work with me, I ask you, where are you right now? Where do you want to be? What are your goals? What are you hoping to get out of this? So therefore, that is what we focus on. I have an assessment that I've designed for my clients simply because everybody's different.
Right.
You know, I don't want to work on the same thing with everybody and just a cookie cutter. So I have the assessment simply because I know that you are all individuals. So let's focus on the areas that you need to work on and not anything else. Why? Because that's wasting time and money. Why would you want to do that? So therefore, that's one thing that I've noticed, and I'm extremely disheartened to see the coaches doing what they're doing because they don't care that you get results. All they want you to do is put the money in the bank. And, you know, honestly, that's probably a reason why, because I asked myself, if you have to lead with, let me show you how I made X, Y, and Z amount of money. You have to ask yourself, what did you do before you started leading with, this is how I made X, Y, and Z money? You know, I don't have to lead with, this is how I make X, Y, and Z money. All I say is, do you want to know how to make money and be valuable? Period. Because do you want money to chase you? You want to chase money. And then those are the coaches who are up late nights working. I did not get into business to be working like that. As a matter of fact, the book that I'm reading right now is a 4-hour work week. I am trying to get down to 4 hours a week for real.
Exactly.
So I didn't get into my business to work 24 hours a day. To me, no, that's not what I'm for. So what I have planned to do, and this works, if you spend 99% of your time working on you, your money will chase you. But I have to leave, ladies. I love this. This was so awesome. You guys are great.
Tamika. We have to connect. I'm gonna look you up on Facebook and stuff.
Yes, Tamika, please share your links before you go, okay?
Yeah.
So that people will know how to get in touch with you, or you could go to the Facebook invite if that's how you got here, and you'll see Tamika and Lakeisha's information there, or you could share your links on the Facebook invite. So that people can go there and get it as well, if that's how they got here.
Okay, I'll just share my website, okay?
Thank you,
I am going to get going. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to do this again.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. And actually, we are over time. So, Tamika, thank you so much and have a great night. And
Thank you.
We are actually over time. And I so hate to cut this conversation short. But I want to know how many people are going to be watching Scandal tonight. Put a one over there in the live chat, because I gotta have some dinner and get ready with the kids and all this. But guys, Lakeisha, Tamika, oh my goodness, this blab was on fire. I'm like, woo! I just want to thank everybody who is sitting here right now. I know that you received the value that you were looking for. And actually, let me ask you that. Did you receive value? Please say yes over in the live chat section if you received the value that you were looking for. And even if you didn't know what was going to be happening or why it came here, let us know that you appreciate what you heard from Lakeisha and Tamika this evening. This has been an absolutely incredible evening of talking about and discussing how to get rid of those fears and really honing in to pay attention to what it is that you align with for yourself personally, so that you can create the business and life that you desire to have, that you resonate with. And that filters over into our health, guys. Our health, because you started out with that, Lakeisha. We'll end with that. You were talking about anxiety, and that's something that actually I suffered with as well at some point, until I understood that I had the ability to change thoughts in my mind that were self-limiting to self-empowering thoughts. And we're continuing to do that on this journey, continuing to connect with people and build relationships around us that are supportive of what it is that we're trying to do. And I just want to say thank you to every single person that is here. Lakeisha, do you have anything to say as we close out the Why Project?
Oh my goodness, I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Lisa, for inviting me here at the Why Project. This was so empowering. Yeah. I mean, it's nothing better than just being in a room, even though it's virtual, with women, you know what I'm saying, that know their purpose or understanding their purpose, or even on the verge of knowing what their purpose is, and just kind of going after that and knowing what their why is. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the Why Project. I appreciate all of the women that showed up here. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate you. I went ahead and I put my my website here in the link. You can find me there. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. And I'll be jumping on doing some Periscope. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll find me on Periscope. But thank you, ladies, so much. This was awesome. I'd love to come back again.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. And anyone who is here, I welcome your sharing your information here in the Why Project. If you think that you would like to sit in the love seat, I call this the love seat, and share your why here on the Why Project, just shoot me a Facebook inbox or a tweet, or just get in touch with me and we'll chat a little bit. But I just want to stop and thank everyone for being here. This has been an incredible evening, guys. Just get out there, jump out there, do what it is that you're here to do. Know your purpose and know your why. Have an incredible evening, and we'll see you next week here on the Why Project. Have a great night.